It was a slow week this week. Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and I'm here with another comic book review video. And it was a very light week for me this week. If you watch my Wednesday video, comic book day, 3 books. So you know what they are. Now you want to know what I think about them. So we'll kick off with a little sedate stroll through to the future with Alex and Ada issue 3 from Image. I love this book, I really do. We find, well, Alex has kept Ada, which we knew this was going to happen, given the title. And it's kind of like a reticent show and tell. All his friends come round, and in essence it's a bit of a pod and a probe. But the funny thing about this is that, you know, you have the friends entranced by what they know is an android. Yes, a very highly sophisticated android, but an android nonetheless. But they treat it still like a real human being. When they think they've, you know, crossed the line with a question, or they've touched, not places where they shouldn't touch, but, you know, when they've touched maybe inappropriately, or you wouldn't do this to them, they're kind of ashamed and they apologise, and you're like, it's a robot. And this interesting dichotomy between, you know, the fact that this is an android, but it looks, it acts, it does mostly what a human does, is very interesting, and Jonathan Lehner just really sells this. It's got a lot of humour in it. You have all his friends all on the sofa, and you are just waiting for one of the guys to say, she's hot, you know. But it's not, it's one of the girls that says it, and I don't think it's in any particular lesbian way. It is just, she looks hot, and of course everyone then agrees it's fine to like come out with it, and it just made me smile and give myself a little bit of a chuckle. It's not all humour the way through, not saying that this is any way dark, but then you get to a kind of, Alex starts his day-to-day life, and it does feel very monotonous. Ada won't do anything for herself or without being told by Alex. She looks to him to act the way she thinks she should, and her main purpose, as is her purpose, is to please Alex. There is no thought for herself about what she might want to do. It's always, what does he want to do, and she is happy to do that. And all the while you have these kind of news reports on you know, the TVs that get slipped in about these androids that could potentially be gaining artificial intelligence, thinking for themselves, and this is currently outlawed in this future time. And these androids are doing all sorts of kind of unusual, and they could be deemed as dangerous things. So Alex rings up a hotline, of all things, to basically try, it's like an upgrade. He wants upgrades to add on to Ada in the hope that she will think for herself. Of course, they won't allow him to do that. So he starts looking around the internet, and this is where he finds Degrees of Freedom, which appears to be like an underground kind of, I want to say resistance force, but I don't think they're particularly, it's more protests, and it leaves us there as he is entering this underground group that are helping these androids become more human than they really are. I just really like this book. It's beautifully drawn. It's very simple. There's no flashy artwork in here, but it is nice to look at. Some people might say it's a bit plain looking, but I like to say it's simple, and sometimes the simplest things are the most beautiful. So we've got Astro City issue 8, and putting aside my grievances about the $1 price hike, and I was right, there are no extra pages in this. We are purely paying that extra money for the glossy finish. It was still a great issue though, and this is where you've got to kind of weigh up, are you happy to pay that extra for what is still a great title? We get introduced to the Confessor, who is trying to infiltrate into Winged Victory's camp, and you know, at the start it seems a little bit nefarious. You don't know what his intentions are, and you kind of harken back to the good old days of superheroes fighting each other first before going, oh, we really shouldn't be fighting with each other, we're both on the same side. So you have Confessor and the Samaritan having a bit of a tussle, very much in the ilk of kind of a Batman and Superman generic characters, but still interesting to hear like the inner monologue from the Confessor and what he is capable of, despite, you know, Samaritan's clearly physical prowess, and would have thought could beat this Confessor character. Kind of shoehorned in there, we hear a bit more of the backstory of the boy who got into the camp, who'd been beaten severely. It doesn't seem to amount to much. We get a lot of pages about the history, about him and his auntie, and his connections to the camp. But it just, at the moment, it seems a little bit, well, do we really need to know that? I think the boy is going to play a much bigger part further down the line. I don't think he has throwaway, and I don't think it's just a device to let the reader know the connection between the boy, his auntie, and the camp. They all try and find out who's behind this, and you get a big nice loads of TV screens with lots of great villainous names on there, and by the end of this issue we appear to find out who is behind all this. Also, while this is all going on, given the kind of these villains that have gone around saying it's Winged Victory who has trained them, and now they're doing her bidding, you know, trying to trash her name. We have this kind of police force coming into all of Winged Victory's camps, and basically, you know, going in there like cops, collecting evidence, but they're also pushing out the women who are staying there, who Winged Victory, in a very, you know, good way, is trying to rehabilitate them to make them better citizens. And there's the whole worry about, if they are left out of the camp, will they go back to their kind of more shadier ways. Just a great solid read. Shame about the price hike. Finally this week, it's Daredevil. It's issue 35, the penultimate issue of this volume before it gets renumbered back to issue 1. And with one more issue to go, it is time for the Sons of Serpents to make their counter-attack from what happened last issue. And I'm going to not spoil this book because you have to read it. It is perfect. It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Basically what transpires, this is going to be basically what appears to be a no-win situation for Matt and Daredevil. And we find out that the Sons of Serpents know a great deal about Daredevil and about Matt's childhood. where they have this information, how they've accrued this information is not told to us, but they know a lot. So he turns to Elektra, Matt turns to Elektra for some advice, but at the same time they have a bit of a fight with Constrictor and Mamba. And then right at the end we have that last panel cliffhanger, and it's like, oh, oh, oh. It does kind of now start to make sense why the next volume that comes after this, when it gets renumbered, will probably have to take place in another city, in this case California. And from the final page, which shows the cover of the last issue, why Matt has to close down his lawyer's business. Lawyer's business. Just a great issue. You know, it was bam, 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 and you were like, wow. This Chris Samney's art in this is just as great as ever. Really, it's such a struggle for me now. Again, it's that price hike in the new volume that's going to come out. It's such a good book though. It would be a shame, and it is a shame, that we all, you know, have to think about giving up books that we really, really love because they're too expensive. And that's it this week. That's me done. Ghost Critic out for the week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry there was no books. I can't really help that. It was just a very short week for me this week. If this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed but you enjoyed what you like, hit the subscribe button, give it a big thumbs up, and some comments down in the bottom below would be greatly appreciated, and I'll try and reply to as many as I can. Thank you all for watching. This is the first full week done. I hope you've enjoyed it. On to next week. Goodbye.